let's take a closer look at the front panel. In the top left-hand corner, you can see you've got 2 meters there with an input level, and those are for the external input when you're processing external signals. And moving down, you've got a master, which is a master volume level for everything. And then you've got a headphone level. And here we have the joystick. The joystick is a really nice implementation because you've got this joystick that can be assigned to whatever parameters you like as a modulation source. And you can see there's 3 LEDs there, which we can select right there. And essentially what that means is the joystick has 3 completely independent controls. So you can have X and Y controls for 3 different sets of parameters. And there's an assign button there, and it's a little shortcut that lets you assign what it does. Alright, moving along the front panel here, we have what are more like quick edit controls, the oscillator, filter, LFO, so forth. For the oscillator section, you can see we've got frequency and tuning and waveform and a mysterious white knob that says select. What that does is it allows you to cycle through. By turning it, you can go and select which oscillator number. I think it sort of shows on the screen. Which oscillator you're editing. There's 1, 2, so forth. Or you can put a macro mode where it affects all of them simultaneously, so that's selectable. And same idea with the filter. You've got resonance and cutoff, of course, and filter type, and the white knob that selects which one. And these are push buttons too, so you push to select the one you want. Same kind of idea for the LFO, frequency and waveform, and a select button. And then moving down, you've got envelope controls and a couple extra parameters there, time and level. Here we also have envelope controls for controlling the envelope generators, of course. Okay, here's where things start getting pretty crazy. This is the main control center of Origin. You've got the big screen, obviously. It's not a touch screen, but you can see all those buttons at the top, which are these guys there, bang, bang, bang. Those are soft buttons, which coincide with a whole bunch of parameters. And same thing with those knobs. Those are knobs that have variable functions depending on what screen you're in and what you're doing. So they make things pretty easy. Here's all the function modes, and I'll show these off. Let me back out a little bit here and maybe you can see. Home is your kind of your home page, if you will, and preset is where you select presets, and you can pick those there. And program, that takes you to a mode where you can do basic program editing, and edit, where you can do more intense program editing. And you can see right here, this is a really good example of the modular mode I was referring to, where you've got this sort of custom building block synth. You can see all the oscillators up top, the filters next to that, the envelope, and so forth. And these building blocks can be freely moved around. You can see those ones at the bottom are empty blocks, as it were, and you can put whatever you want in there. So you can build very elaborate patches this way. Here we have the multi-mode, and multi-mode is where you can stack different sounds. So you've got the aforementioned 4 layers. This is where you can stack them together to find them. Here we've got the sequencer page, which is where the step sequencer parameters are shown, and the effects page, so all the effects. And isn't it neat how they use the old school Roland style font? I was kind of amused by that. And then live mode, which gives you a bunch of shortcuts for setting up all your controllers, so you can have the thing set up for live, ready to go, and control a lot of parameters real quickly with all the knobs and joystick and so forth. To the right of the display, we have a keypad with numbers. You can use that to select sounds primarily and name things and send text messages. Now it actually doesn't do that. And then moving down, you've got the big A knob, which is a big knob, which you use to select, for example, presets. And you can press it and it initiates functions. And then you've got the arrows, which is cursor around on the screen. All the way over on the right hand side we have the mixer controls, and you can see there's an on, off, and edit and level for each one of those. And here's a patch which shows that off really well, actually. This is one patch with multiple layers, so it only uses up one of the 4 synths. It's a drum kind of thing. And you can see here's layer 1. Obviously nothing there. And then mid-resi kind of thing. Then like a faux hi-hat. You can put them all together, or you can adjust the levels. So you can already see how in a live context. Also, if we move down, you can see there's the effects buttons right there. So you can turn off the multi-effects. It's just our kick drum. Kind of a distortion bit crusher. Delay. Reverb. So now, turn everything. And we can and we can also adjust the effects levels right here too. So down at the bottom we have the sequencer, and there are 16 knobs, and each one of those sequencers is 3 layers. You can see the 3 layers right there, so you can affect 3 different parameters. Let me show you a patch that takes advantage of it. Here's one of the layers. You can hear the filter, and then I can bring in the next layer, which is just a kick drum. Filter tweak there. I wanted to show off how easy it is to assign parameters using the 8 assignable white knobs. Here we have a Mini Moog preset, and we can go in and hit edit, and you can see the familiar Mini Moog facade, and I'm using the big Arturia knob that you can't see in this shot to highlight the various sections. And if I go, say, for example, to the oscillator section and press it, here are my 3 oscillators and the parameters. You can see there's knobs right there. And each of these knobs has a little color next to it, red and green and so forth. This is a prototype Origin, and the colors really aren't that intense, but they tell me that the shipping ones actually have more intense colors, so it makes a little more sense. And all you have to do is, using the big Arturia knob, you just select the parameter. For example, here we have the coarse tuning for oscillator 2, and select it and hit the knob. And say I want to go to another oscillator and assign for the 3rd oscillator that knob, for example. Of course, all these parameters are accessible using the big Arturia knob. You can just press it. But for quick access, this is a really great way to get at all these parameters. Earlier I had mentioned the modular aspect, where you can combine different oscillators and filters and envelopes from different synths, and I just wanted to give a quick overview of that. In addition to the Jupiter and ARP 2600 and Mini Moog and so forth, there's also what they call Origin modules, which are Arturia's kind of custom blend oscillators and filters and amps and stuff, and typically they have more parameters than the classic ones. When you're in the modular mode, as you can see on the screen, it's a virtual rack of sorts, and by turning the big Arturia knob here, you can see it highlights. These are all empty spaces down here, so you've got 24 slots available. And for this particular sound, for example, say I want to add an oscillator. You can see right here I'm on a Jupiter oscillator. It says Jupiter right there. And by using the soft buttons, I can say add an oscillator, and you come up with a list of all the modules you can add. So here I'm going to go to an oscillator and press the Arturia button, and it says Origin 2600 CS80 Mini Moog. So let's add, say, an ARP 2600 oscillator by pressing right there, and you can see, and it's kind of cute, they made the sliders horizontal just like on a 2600. And if you want to further edit that, of course, you press the Arturia button, and there's the parameters for it, which are again horizontal like an ARP, and you can see there's a little ARP logo right there. So that's where you do that, and you can set all your inputs and outputs for that module right there, and that's how you route everything together. But there's also a patch page for the modular right there, and this is where it gets really crazy. This is where you can add all your patch chords, and by going to each one and pressing, you can again set all your inputs and outputs right there.